Hello, Facebook. It's Sunday night, 8:30. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes. Hello, Miss Jacqueline. Hello, Greg. Hello, Miss Melanie. Coach K, how are you, sir? Hey, James, how are you? Big C. Hello, Miss Mary. What's going on, TD? Hello, Linda. How you doing, Gary? I recommend that you all post and share this one on your timeline. I think tonight's will be a clear enough message both for business as well as just for personal. I hope this helps everybody out. Hey there, Kathleen. Doing great, Big C, and yourself? So many of you have been asking questions, private messaging me, emailing me regarding the last videos that I did. So I wanted to do a follow-up. I don't even know that I did a good enough job on those videos, but it created a lot of awareness and it created a lot of interest and a lot of questions. So I'm going to do my best tonight to tighten down that message and make it really effective as well as productive for all of you. So I'll give it another minute or two, give everybody a chance to jump on. And like I said, I think this one is going to be worth sharing on your timelines. We're just another minute. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Okay, well, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how to take a little bit more of an active approach. I won't say control, because I don't want anybody to misunderstand this message. My biggest challenge in life was to let go of the control. My challenge was because of my type A personality, because of the way I was raised, because of everything, I spent far too much time trying to stay in control. So I don't want to confuse this message. My hope is to help you go from things that you hope for, pray for, and dream about to actually being able to make the effective steps and take action towards bringing them into your reality without, and this is key, without control. Control is where most people get derailed. I know it was for me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by sharing a little message, a little story with you. And the message goes back to something I talked about in the last videos, the difference between prayer and faith. And it's been bothering me since I talked about it because I knew there was a much cleaner answer and I wasn't landing it. It was just rattling around in my brain. So I'm going to tell you where I got it from, and I'm going to strongly encourage all of you to watch this movie, even if you've watched it before. The movie is called Facing the Giants. And the scene in the movie was so profound, and it had a huge effect on me. The scene in the movie basically is when the coach is visited by the blind man who was constantly every week praying over the team and over the students. And the story basically defines the difference between prayer and having faith. Prayer, we all have it. We pray for things. We pray for better health. We pray for better relationships. We pray for a better relationship, with the person we're with. We pray for financial success. We pray for stability. We pray for all kinds of things. But that's where most people leave it. We pray for it or we manifest it, but we leave it there. So the story that I'm going to steal from the movie goes this way. There were two farmers, and the farmers both were in severe drought. They needed rain badly in order to save their farms and their crops. So they both prayed as hard as they could for the rain. But only one of the farmers went out and prepared his fields to receive the rain. The other one just prayed for it. So the second farmer went out there and actively worked his field, worked his farm, prepared it so that when the rain came, he could benefit from it. Whether it takes a day, a week, a month, 6 months, a year, 3 years. If you keep praying for the rain, but you never prepare for the reception to receive that rain, what good is it when the rain comes? So the message is both farmers prayed for rain. They both needed rain. They both asked for rain. They both manifested rain. But only one of them prepared his fields. So when the rain comes, the first farmer gets no benefit. He gets the rain and it doesn't do anything to save his crops and his farm. The second farmer receives the blessing, receives the answer to his prayers, and he benefits. So, what does that mean for you and I? It means we have to do something more than just hope for things. Now, I've done plenty of videos where I've said this to people. I've said this to all of you. It doesn't matter what you want. What you want is the first step. What you want is the declaration, the statement, the goal. That's what I want. But if you stay right there and you leave it at that, it doesn't mean anything. After asking, whether it's a prayer to God or it's manifesting to the universe, once you've asked for what it is that you want, what are you doing? See, my little joke is pray, ask God for it, and then go to work as if he's not paying attention or listening to you. Do the work. Do the work so that if and when your prayers are answered, you're in motion. You're not sitting on the couch watching TV. So for me, you have to bring something more than just the prayer or the request or manifesting it into the universe. Now, here's the trick. How do we do that effectively? I'm going to go on record right now saying I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. But what I've been piecing together the past few months is that things that I was doing unconsciously for years are starting to make sense to me. So here's what I want you to understand, and I want you to write this down because these are things that I'm confident are necessary. The first thing is you have to have clearly defined goals. You have to know what you want. You can't just throw it out there. You have to know what it is that you want. So take the time. Write down the goals. Write down what it is that you want. That's your starting point. That's the target. If you don't have a target, then 100% of the time you'll never hit it. Think about that for a second. If you don't actually have a target to aim for, how are you going to ever hit it? You have no shot at ever hitting it. So have a target, have a goal, have a focus. After your focus, what I want you to do is then mentally, emotionally, and physically act as if. Act as if. A-C-T-A-S-I-F. Act as if it has happened. Not fake it till you make it. Act as if. Mentally, emotionally, and physically. Begin to think and speak in the present tense. It's called a declaration. Don't say, I want to. Don't say, I will. Don't say, I hope to. Speak as if. I have been saying for 3 decades, I will change the industry of network marketing. I will clean up the industry of network marketing. I've been saying it for 3 decades. Why is it that a year and a half ago, when I actually took the steps and said, I am cleaning up, I am cleaning up the industry of network marketing, did everything start to fall in line? I don't know. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that when it shifted in my head from I want to and I will and we need to I am. Folks, I want you to think about what I'm trying to say right now. In January of 2016, we didn't have a company. I just filed a corporation, an LLC. That's all I did. I had a product. I was putting pieces together. January, February, March, and April, I didn't have a company. It was still in the formulation. I didn't have a sales force. I had Jerry and Tracy Montgomery and a handful of people. Then all of a sudden, Herschel Gibbs shows up. Folks, what I want you to understand is it was the statement, the declaration, I am doing something, that shifted the entire environment and began to bring people to me. I have nothing to do with it. I made the statement and I went out there and I talked to people. Now, this is part of the scary thing for everybody. I had people offering to give me money to finance my company, and I told them no. No, thank you. You want to give me money? Great, but you have no control over the company because I have to protect the reps. I have to maintain the ability to control everything to protect the reps. So if you want to give me money but not have any control, that's great, but I wouldn't expect anyone to do that. That was scary. That was really scary. It's scary to turn down $500,000 when you know you may need it. But the statement and the declaration of, no, I'm going to do this, is what pulled me through. Now, I also want to stress this. In addition to saying it in the present tense, not the future tense, you have to always speak in the positive. And this is a mistake that I used to make and many people still do. You can't talk about what you don't want. You have to talk about what you do want only. If you are right now struggling financially, your declaration has to be, I am financially stable. I am so happy to be financially stable. I am so happy to be in position to pay all my bills. I am so happy to be in a financial position to pay my bills. I am so happy to be in a positive financial You have to speak in the present tense and in the positive. Don't ask me why. I don't have the answers. I'm telling you that when you control your thoughts and you control your words and they remain only positive and only present tense, that is when things change. Now I'm going to try to give you, again, for me, I do my best to try to make it understandable, simple terms. I will say it this way. Spent a long time praying. Told you I was raised Catholic, so I was raised praying to God. I continue to say prayers, but I also now set intentions to ask the universe to move things in alignment with my greatest good. Now, here's the analogy that I want to give you. And if it doesn't work, great. Like I said, I'm not claiming to have all the answers, but this made a lot of sense to me. Pretend that you went to a restaurant to eat dinner. You go to the restaurant, you sit down, they give you a menu. You look at the menu, you make the decision what you would like to eat. You want to order an appetizer, you want to order some soup, a salad, you want to order an entree, you may want a dessert. So as you're deciding what you want to order, the waiter or the waitress comes over and says, "Can I take your order?" Think about what I'm saying right now. if you're not clear about what you want, if you're not clear with your order, what happens 45 minutes later? You don't get what you want. If you're vague, if you're uncertain, if you're unclear with which appetizer, with which salad, with which soup, with which entree, you're not going to get what you want. So you need to be very clear in what it is that you are asking for, okay, in your prayers or in the intentions and the manifestation that you're asking of the universe. So you've got to be clear. So now picture yourself. You're talking to the waiter or the waitress and you're stating, you're declaring what it is that you would like. Now, we all understand you place your order with the waiter or the waitress. They go back to the kitchen. They put your order in and it takes what? Time. It takes time. It takes time from the time you order before your meal is ready. Here's what I want you to think about. We've all heard this before. It's not on our time. I wish I had that kind of control, but I don't. So I'm on God's time, or I'm on the universal path. I don't have the control. But here's what I can tell you, and this is a mistake that I used to make, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's a mistake that many of you make. So we've sat down, we've looked at the menu, we've placed our order. Now it's been 10 minutes, 15 minutes. What happens if you then call the waiter or the waitress over and you say, I changed my mind. I don't want the grilled salmon. I want a ribeye steak. The waitress says, no problem. Takes your new order, goes back into the kitchen. So you've been sitting there for 10, 15, 20 minutes, didn't get your grilled salmon, changed your mind, placed a new order. What just happened? You just extended out the amount of time. You confused your situation. I want this, now I want this. Because of that, guess what? Now you got to erase the 10, 15, 20 minutes that you've been sitting there. They don't even count. You reset the clock back to 0. So now they're in the kitchen and they're preparing a new meal for you. Ribeye steak. 10, 15 minutes go by. You're just about that 20-minute mark. You wave over. Waitress comes back. I've changed my mind again. I don't want meat. I would like spaghetti tonight. No problem, sir. Fills out the new order. Goes back into the kitchen. Hit the like button if this is making any sense to you. This is what's wrong. We don't stay focused. We don't stay consistent with what we want. We're wishy-washy. We waver. We're not consistent enough. So we put out what we want, and because we don't stay consistent with it, God says, oh, sure, I'll give you what you want. All that time that we waited, boom, we've got to go back to 0 again. Because we have to go back to 0, we're frustrated because we feel like, waited 20 minutes, waited another 20 minutes, where's my dinner? Guess what? You're going to wait another 20 minutes or more for your third order. But we don't think that way. We just keep thinking, I don't get what I want. Why can't I get what I want? Why can't I get what I want? So what I'm asking you to do is to give yourself the best chance. Instead of going out there and just being wishy-washy, being vague, praying, manifesting, whatever, I'm asking you to be clear and to be consistent, to be focused in what you're asking for, in setting your intentions, in placing your order. And then, what are you doing? Are you preparing yourself? Are you doing the work that you should be doing to prepare? So that when, not if, when you get the answer to your prayers, or you get the result of what it is that you're manifesting and asking for, are you prepared to receive it? That's my offer to you right now, is do what we can. After asking, do what we can to prepare ourselves. Do what we can to prepare ourselves. when it comes to our business, people ask me, John, how did you do this? I'm consistent in business. Now I'm going to shift gears. For all of you that are not in the business, bear with me because this will apply in some way to your life. But for those of you that are in the network marketing home-based business, pay close attention because this dials directly into your level of success. We have to be willing to be honest, sincere, and authentic. What do I mean by that? If you are filled with ego and pride, if you are prideful, you're never going to get what you want. If your ego is more important, if your pride is more important, you're never going to get what you want. So when it comes to our business, we call it having a reason why. When people ask me, John, how did you do this? John, how do you stay consistent? John, how do you stay committed? John, how is it that you don't fall off course? If you think for 1 minute, if you think for 1 second that I don't get frustrated, that I don't deal with the same garbage as everybody else, you're sadly mistaken. I deal with at least the same, if not more, obstacles and frustrations than anyone else. At least the same, if not more. Here's the difference. My reason for doing what I do, the reason I do what I do is bigger and more important than the frustrations that I have. Some of you know I have a 9-year-old son. My life and our family didn't turn out the way I wanted. I didn't get married to be divorced. That wasn't the plan. It's how it played out. Cards that I was dealt. So again, you deal with it. But my 9-year-old son has been my motivation and my reason why I've done what I've done for the last 27 years. I grew up with a father who loved me, but as a very successful physician, he wasn't around. He was always working, whether it was in the hospital or in his own practice. So we traded off having time together every day with being able to financially provide for me. And as a spoiled kid, just like most kids are, I resented the fact that my friends' dads were coaches, Little League baseball, basketball, and football. My dad wasn't. My dad never saw the first half of a football game or a basketball game or the first 3 innings of a baseball game because he was working. Did his best to get there before the game was over, but he wasn't there. He certainly wasn't there at practice, and he certainly wasn't there coaching. But he did what he could based on what he was doing. So when I found out that through the network marketing world, if I worked hard enough and if I did the right things, I could have the financial rewards and the time freedom. It appealed to me. That's what I went after. So that's what focused all of my energies and efforts for 20 years, long before I even had a son. Because I wanted to prepare so that if and when I actually had a family, I had that in motion. Now, I experienced it. Some of you have been with me long enough that you know I was full-time retired my son's first 3 years. That's all I did was I was there when he woke up in the morning. We played all day, and I rocked him to sleep at night. Years 1, 2, and 3. Financially, things got sideways when I got divorced, and I had to basically fund 2 households. So I had to go back to work. So not so much fun when Dad had to go actively work. And so my point right now is that since that time, I've been in that state of up and down success. And as I won't bore you, but as you know, have dealt with some serious financial challenges because of greed and incompetence with some partners I've worked with over the years. But my point now is my focus is to build the most successful business, not so I can be rich, but so I can actually get back on track with what I already had. Financial freedom. Financial freedom. That's what has driven me. Some of you benefit from it because in my company, I can't do it by myself. I have to bring many of you up with me in order for it to happen. So I've offered and I've locked arms with Jerry and Tracy Montgomery. I've locked arms with Herschel Gibbs. I am willing to do that work with you if your goals are the same. To put the time in, to put the effort in, and to successfully build the business that provides you with the financial benefits and resources and 100% control of your time. That's why we do this. That is the appeal of the network marketing home-based business space. Now, my why has gotten bigger than my son. My why, which I didn't realize, was something I was missing the mark for 20 years. Instead of saying, I will one day, I've changed it to, I am right now cleaning up the industry. So what I'm doing right now, my why am I so focused? Why am I working sometimes 18, 19-hour days, 20-hour days? Why am I bringing multiple programs together? Because I am going to do something that I've talked about for 3 decades. I'm going to create a home for the masses because my why has always been to help others. My why has always been to help those that could not figure out how to help themselves and were being taken advantage of by those that could take advantage, by evil greed corporate and evil greed field leadership. I'll simply say this. I don't even judge them anymore. Do what you want to do, but I'm now doing what I can do, which is to provide a safe place for the average person to start a home-based business and turn a profit. That now has actually superseded my drive to go out there and provide for my son and for my family. It has become a bigger why. So when people ask, why are you doing this? I say, because someone has to. Someone had to make the stand and clean the industry up. Somebody had to say, not on my watch, here's what we're going to do. Many of you have joined me in that cause. My question to you right now is, when it comes to your business, what is the reason why you started it? And what is the reason why it must be successful? Because your reason why is the beginning and the end for you. It's the beginning because it will be your internal motivation to go do what needs to get done. Why am I doing a Facebook Live at 8:30 on a Sunday night? Why? Because I want to help others. Because I actually go back and watch some of my videos, and when I say, you know what, I didn't get that right, I want to go ahead and do a better job for you. For you. I truly want to see as many of you have the success that you're willing to work for. Not a lottery ticket. It's not a lottery ticket. But here's my point. I know that many of you have worked very hard in the past for other companies and didn't get the reward because it was never designed for it. It was never designed. Now, and I'm not asking any of you to say thank you. Please. I don't want any of you to thank me. I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything. I'm simply making right now the best attempts that I can to create something. We're only going to do this together. So I'm not asking, in fact, I'm telling you, don't thank me. Join me. Because I can't do it by myself. I can't do it without you. But what I want you to understand is that we are doing it right now. The change is already happening. If you go back and you look at some of the past videos, people from my past are coming out and saying, let's do this. So I'm very, very fortunate. I feel very blessed, and I'm very grateful that me publicly declaring my why. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? What is my motivation? What is my goal? What is it for? Is now resonating with so many other people that are coming and joining. That's what I want for all of you. But I need you to understand, you have to do the same thing for your circle. My circle is vast. I've been doing this for 3 decades. So when I do a video, I don't know who it's reaching. But you have your own circle of influence. You have your own sphere of influence. What message are you delivering? What message are you delivering to your circle? Because here's what you got to understand. Go back to the waiter, waitress, and the menu. What is it that you're ordering up from the universe? When those people around you are talking to you, and more importantly, when they're not talking, but when they're watching and listening, what message are you sending? What message are you sending to them? What did you declare? What are you giving those people any reason to follow you? I think that's probably the most important thing I want to leave you with. I don't expect anyone to follow me blindly. I have to earn your respect. I have to earn your trust. If I don't deserve it. I mean that sincerely. I know what my self-worth is, but if I can't communicate and convey that to you through my actions, not my words, but my actions, then I don't deserve it. But the same thing holds for you. So you can't go out there and act one way and expect people to be inspired to join you. You have to act in accordance. Like I said, act as if. I'm not asking you to beg anybody. I'm not asking you to chase anybody. But I am asking you to carry yourself in a manner, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and socially, that when people are watching you or listening to you, they're inspired by you. That doesn't mean you have to give presentations. It doesn't mean you have to give trainings. It means if somebody says, "Why are you doing that?" that you can clearly communicate to them, "You know what? I've been at my job for the last 18 years, and I work hard at my job, but you know what? I'm not respected there. I'm not appreciated there. There's no gratitude for the work I put in. I wake up early. I drag myself out of bed. I shower. I do a commute through miserable traffic. Hear what I'm saying right now. Hear what I'm saying. And I'm not rewarded financially. I don't know about you, but I'm not getting from my job or from my boss what I know I deserve. So while I'm going to my job 5 days a week and busting my tail, I have to do something extra. So I'm looking at starting a home-based business. I'm looking at starting a home-based business to make the extra money right now that I need to make ends meet because I don't have the financial resources. But I'm doing it because I know in the future I'm going to need more money. My kids are going to go to college. I'm going to need money to help support them because they deserve the best that they can get from me. And I know my parents' health is not great, and I'm going to need extra money to help support them. So right now, I'm starting the business because I know that based on what I have right now, I can't take care of my kids or my parents the way they deserve. And it's only going to get worse. I'm not respected, I'm not appreciated, and I'm not valued financially. So I'm starting a home-based business, and that's why I need you to do me a favor and evaluate it. Folks, that's how you clearly communicate an effective why. You make it real. You can't run around acting like you're rich. You can't run around acting like everything's great. You have to be sincere, you have to be honest, and you have to be authentic. And if you're able to go out there and communicate from a sincere place in your heart, you will touch other people. I can't tell you how many people I witness. They're all struggling financially. They're all very dissatisfied with their jobs. They're dissatisfied not just with the amount of money they make, they're just dissatisfied with their lifestyle. But they're afraid because of pride and ego. They're afraid to share that with other people. Now just imagine if you were open and honest enough to share where you are right now with 10, 20 people around you. What if 3 or 4 of them said, "You know what, me too"? Now all of a sudden you have allies. You have people willing to join you in what you're doing because of the common cause. But we're too busy putting up the fake it till you make it. We're too busy saying, "Well, I'm this and I." You know what? It's a statement that I used to joke about. Used to be's don't produce honey. No one needs to hear what you used to be. No one needs to hear what you used to do. Used to be's don't produce honey. So don't live in the past. Don't live with, I used to be this and I used to have this. Deal with reality. The economy has destroyed so many families over the last decade. It began like in 2006, 2007, 2008. We dealt with the housing crash. We dealt with major issues in the stock market. Yet so many people run around acting like everything's great. If you act like everything's great, it better be, because no one's going to care about helping you. But if you're willing to be vulnerable and honest, open and vulnerable, and let people know, hey, you know what? This is where I'm at right now. You'd be amazed how many people say, you know what, me too. Let's do something together. So this is John Costino saying thanks for watching. I'll leave you with this. Tonight, I'm going to watch Facing the Giants again. It's been too long since I watched it. I know Robert Buchholz and I watched it about a month and a half ago and had a private conversation on it. But for those of you that have not watched it, watch it. Powerful movie. Powerful movie. For those of you that watched it in the past and say, oh, I've already seen it, watch it again. I've probably watched it 20 times. But it's just a great movie that talks about, like I said, faith. It's up to you. But my recommendation is remain in a state of faith, not just prayer and hope and wish and want, because it doesn't get anything done. Pray for what you want and then work as if nobody's listening. So John Costino saying be blessed. Thanks for watching and have a great week. Bye-bye, everyone.